Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special video, a very sentimental video I would say. So we're going to be talking all about the moment I found out I was pregnant and also how I prepared my body for pregnancy and some really fun like early pregnancy signs that I thought we could talk about as well. And yeah, hopefully this video is going to be helpful and just interesting and fun to watch. Like for me, this is something that I've dreamed about for so many years, and now that it finally happened and it's here, it's just so special and so exciting, and I want to share all of that with you guys. Okay, so just to give you guys a little bit of like an intro and a background on us and our journey. So we got married last summer, so in the summer of 2021, and our plan was always that we were going to have our wedding, and then shortly after that we were going to try to conceive. Our wedding was actually postponed 1 year. We were supposed to do it in the summer of 2020. Obviously with the pandemic and everything going on, we had to postpone it. And also I am 32 now as I'm filming this, and my plan and like my vision my whole life was always to at least be pregnant or trying to be pregnant by the age of 30. So obviously with the wedding having to be postponed for a year, that set our plans back for a year. And obviously as women, like we have to think about our time, like if we want to be pregnant and have a few kids, you know, it's always something that's kind of in the back of my mind that I want to make sure that we can still do. But anyway, we got married last year, so it was a year later than what we had hoped for, but you know, it's not like the end of the world. And pretty much like a month or two after our wedding, like I really started to think about, okay, now is the time. I should be preparing myself, preparing my body. So that is when I started making a few of the lifestyle changes and started doing a few of the new things, which I will talk to you guys about a little bit later in this video. But needless to say, like when all of this happened and when we were both ready to, like we weren't trying, but we were also not trying, if that makes sense. But when it got to that point, I was so happy and so excited. But yeah, like we were not at the point where we were timing everything, so it did kind of happen naturally, but we were also not trying to conceive, if you know what I mean, because I was actually on the birth control pill for many years, and then I got off of that in the spring of 2020. I made a few videos about that during that time. So since then, being off of birth control, I started to track my cycle, and I was also using a thermometer every morning that would record my temperature. The app that I use is called Thermometer, and they have this thermometer that automatically links via Bluetooth to the app, so you don't have to like record it manually, especially when it's really early in the morning, which is when you're supposed to do it. And this is a little bit more of an accurate way to track your cycle if you're doing a natural method. I'll pop in a chart here so you can see how our body temperature fluctuates throughout the month depending on which phase of our cycle that we're in. So tracking it this way, this is how I knew when I was fertile and when I could get pregnant, and also the days when I couldn't get pregnant. Okay, so that's a little background, but let's move forward to like the moment that, or I guess like the few days before leading up to finding out that I was pregnant. So some early pregnancy signs that I noticed and kind of like how I was feeling. So because I knew my cycle really well at that point, it was really like on the cutoff line, and I thought like maybe it could be something. I obviously wasn't 100% sure because it wasn't like in the peak zone, but it also wasn't like completely out of the zone. So from that moment, I was like, okay, maybe it could be something. I didn't want to, you know, hype myself up or get too excited and jump to conclusions. So I just tried to keep myself really calm and chill. But at the same time, I was so excited that it could maybe be something. So yeah, I remember those 2 weeks like in between. They call it the 2-week wait, which I didn't even know was a thing until I was in it. But it was really strange because a few days before I was supposed to get my period, I had all of the period feeling sensations, like cramps. I had like my breasts were a bit sore. But something that I did notice that was a bit different is that the cramps were not in the same place as they normally were. Like they were a little bit further down, kind of in the groin area, and they were kind of sharper. Yeah, like the pain was like a little bit different than a regular period cramp. And then also I noticed that my appetite changed. Like I wasn't as hungry, which is very weird for me. I remember for a few days leading up to it, like lunch just was not really appetizing for me. So I would have like small snacks, and I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was like, I don't know, this is weird. And of course, with all of this as well, like I was really hoping that it might be something, but again, I didn't want to be disappointed if it wasn't. But I was definitely counting down the days until I could take a test, or until like I had been, you know, a couple of days late for my period. So all of that had been building up for a couple of weeks, and at the point that I decided to take the test, I think I was 1 day late. So it was pretty early, but I was like, maybe, like, let's just see what happens. Okay, I'm reading my notes again. So let's go to the day that I took the pregnancy test. So it was on a Saturday. I was actually thinking I was going to take the pregnancy test on a Monday, so like in 2 days after that, because then I thought it would definitely be more accurate, because, you know, I might still get my period. Like if it's just 1 day late, like that's not like a huge deal. But I was also just so curious, so I decided to go to the pharmacy a little bit early. I went to the pharmacy, got 2 tests, came back home, and decided to do it like right away as I got home. And yeah, I filmed a little bit of the moment. I will insert those clips next, and you guys can kind of see and be there with me as I was finding all of that out. But it's like it makes me like so emotional just thinking back to that point. But yeah, I'll insert the clips here and then we'll come back and chat. Oh my god. Oh my god, this means pregnant in German. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm shaking. Oh my god, I'm shaking. Oh my god, it says 2 to 3 weeks. Oh my god. There's a baby. There's a baby. There's a baby in my body. Oh my god. There's a baby. There's a little baby in my body, and it's 2 to 3 weeks old. Oh my god. I love you already, baby, and I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, that was definitely one of the most incredible days of my life, something I will never forget. And it was crazy because I definitely felt a presence in my body. I felt different. And yeah, I remember sitting afterwards on the couch and just Googling and downloading different apps and seeing like when it would be born and all the things, like just Googling so much. On one of the apps that I have, it's called Pregnancy Plus, I believe. I'll pop it in here. But there you can see week by week what your baby looks like in 3D. It's really cool. You can move it around. It tells you different information and different developmental things that it's going through that week. But I remember when I first got it, I was obviously super early. It was like 2 to 3 weeks, and it was just like a ball of cells. And I was like, oh my god, that's like my little ball of cells. Like it doesn't start to resemble an actual human until like week 8 or week 10. But I remember looking at that and thinking like, wow, that is my future little baby, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, just reading my notes, I remember feeling very excited, really relieved as well. I wrote, I'm beyond over the moon happy, and I'm writing down dates, planning, visualizing timelines, learning a lot, looking up lots of info. So next I want to talk about how I prepared my body for pregnancy. I think this is something that is so important and is not really talked about that much. Like we talk a lot about how to stay fit and healthy during pregnancy, postpartum, but I really believe that those few months before you start trying to conceive, like that's when you're setting up your body to receive a new life. But definitely just one of the most important, like fundamental things is to know your cycle and to know when you can get pregnant and when you cannot, because obviously we can't get pregnant like the whole month. There are only a few days within the month where we are fertile. So if you obviously want to try to conceive, that's when you got to do it. And then if you're not, then you don't do it in those days. Personally, I think using an app is just the most easy and convenient way to do this. There are lots out there. Also, if you want to take it a step further and be really accurate with your ovulation and all of that, you can also get ovulation test strips that you pee on, and it will tell you when you are the most fertile. And there are lots of different companies that make these. I also had one from Clear Blue as well. So I just really wanted to make sure that I knew and was in sync and on top of my cycle. So I think that's the fundamental thing, just knowing biologically when you could get pregnant. And then when it comes to preparing our bodies, definitely starting to take a prenatal vitamin a few months before trying to conceive. That is something that a lot of experts recommend. Prenatal vitamins are really important for the folic acid, and that's something that can actually be stored in your body. So it can be really helpful to build up your supply of that before you try to conceive, because that's something that is really important for the development of your baby's brain. So that's something that I started doing 3 to 4 months before we got pregnant. Another supplement that lots of studies have shown to be successful when trying to conceive is a good probiotic. That's another thing that our gut health is so closely linked to, is the gut health of our inner parts, of our vaginal health, and it's all connected. The one that I trust and love the most is from Seed. You guys know that I am so obsessed with this, and I like this one a lot because of the amount of research and development that has gone into making this product. So the bacteria in these capsules are guaranteed to make it all the way down to your colon where they need to be, because these actually have a 2-in-1 via cap technology. So it has this protective outer shell, and that protects the bacteria on the inside from our stomach acids, bile salts, enzymes that are all designed to break down our food, which is great, but they can also kill the bacteria. And that's the problem with most probiotics on the market. They don't actually survive and make it down to where they need to go. And I think that's why these have been so popular and are so effective. When I listen to a lot of podcasts and experts talk about gut health, they say that the marker for good gut health is when the person has a large diversity of different gut bacteria in their colon. So the larger the diversity, the better the health of the person. And when you take a really high quality probiotic, you are introducing lots of good bacteria into your gut. And again, probiotics are something that studies have shown to be really helpful when trying to conceive. And if you're not, they're just great for your overall health. And it's just such a simple little thing that you can implement into your routine. I take one of these every single morning on an empty stomach with some water. It's just such a simple and great way to support your gut health. So if you guys have not tried them out yet, I would highly recommend them. They are offering all my viewers 15% off. You can use the code AnnieJ15 at checkout, and that will get you 15% off your first month's supply. And of course, along with a good prenatal vitamin, a good probiotic, I think just your general diet and lifestyle. If we're trying to conceive, it's definitely not the right moment to be restricting calories or eating really small portions, or not really nourishing, and satisfying yourself and feeling really good with the food that you're eating and with your body. It takes a lot of energy to grow a human, and you want to make sure that your body is fit and ready and has nutrients and vitamins stored up in its body so that it can produce a really healthy and vibrant being. So I really just made sure that my diet was healthy and well balanced, that I was eating from all food groups. I wasn't restricting myself in any way when it comes to no carbs or no fats, just really listening to my body and making sure that I was really nourishing myself. Also at this point, I was really cutting back on caffeine, and I actually haven't had any caffeine for months. From what I've researched, caffeine is not terrible for you if you're trying to conceive, but for me, it's not something that I need. It's not something that I crave or is very much part of my routine. So I was just trying to cut back on that, because I know at the end of the day, it's not a beneficial thing for my body. It's tough on our adrenals. We're essentially borrowing energy from the future when we're drinking a lot of caffeine. Something like coffee, it's more about the taste that I like. So if I wanted something, I would get a decaf. Also, something that I think is important to know hormonal is your movement and your physical activity. So I move my body every day, but I don't do the same thing every day. And I also adjust my workouts depending on what phase of my cycle I'm in. I've done a few videos on this. I will have them linked down below if you guys haven't watched them. But basically, it can be really helpful for your body if after you ovulate, so within your luteal phase, that you're a little bit more gentle on your body and that you don't do as many strength and weightlifting exercises. Our hormones actually differ a lot during this phase compared to the follicular phase, so before you ovulate, and it's actually a lot more advantageous for your body to do more low impact kind of exercises such as Pilates, yoga, walking, things like that. And then during your follicular phase, so before you ovulate, that's when you can do your more like cardio exercises, strength training, HIIT workouts if you enjoy those. And this is something that I was very mindful of as well leading up to the moments before we got pregnant. So really making sure that I'm not putting additional stress on my body when I want it to do something so big and so huge to, you know, grow a human, and to feel that it's in a safe and really good and healthy, strong point so that it can do all of those functions. Because if you are putting your body through a lot of stress, you know, say you're not sleeping enough, not eating enough, restricting from different food groups, over exercising, or just having a lot of emotional or physical stress in your life, that's just naturally not the best environment for your body to host a new life and to create a new life. So just thinking about that from your body's perspective as well, and like being friends with it, understanding it, listening to it. Also during that 2-week wait between when I thought maybe something could have happened and before I was gonna get my period, I was very gentle with my exercises. So I was just doing prenatal friendly workouts even at that point, because I just wanted to, you know, if in case something was to happen, that I wanted to invite that into my body. And I think it's also very much like a mental and very spiritual and emotional thing as well, just like having and creating that space for a new life to be welcomed. I think that is really important as well, and definitely goes a long way. So whether you want to, you know, talk to your future baby or envision it in your life. Also, I remember if I was feeling like really kind of stressed or overwhelmed or just a bit anxious about everything, there are some really great meditations on YouTube. They're called implantation meditations, and I listened to those a few times during that week or those 2 weeks. Yeah, again, just really like opening up my heart, opening up my body, and creating lots of space for this new being. That was really nice and just kind of helped to take some of the stress away if I was feeling anxious or anything like that. And yeah, of course, like keeping myself active, doing good things for myself, like that always makes me feel good. And I think that really helps as well with the whole conception process. Just keeping yourself in a really good headspace, trying not to be too stressed, focusing on taking care of your body, eating well, working out, going on walks, making sure that you are getting sunshine, taking vitamins, getting enough sleep, and just having like good human connection. I think all of those things really helped play a big part in our journey, and I hope that maybe some of these tips can be helpful to you guys. Of course, we're all a little bit different, but this is just what worked for me and my story. And the next video I want to do is all about my first trimester. I want to take you guys through like week by week what happened and the symptoms and all of that, because that is so interesting as well. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it fun and interesting to watch. For me, it's like I said, it's just such a special time in my life. It means a lot that I can share with you guys as well. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Mwah. Bye guys.